All right. So thank you all very, very much for taking time out of your summer to come here and join us here to just have a quick discussion and also to experience a virtual meeting room. As you can see right here, there's some things to help you work your way through. This is a virtual Blackboard, so all of you can actually use any of these tools here and actually write on the Blackboard. If I ask you if you can hear me and I want you to check the check box, that's what you would do here. If you have a question or a concern, you would go ahead and click the raise your hand icon. And then if you feel like throwing out an emoticon at us, you're more than happy or welcome to do that as well. So just go ahead and do a quick check on that. Can everyone please go ahead and check select the check mark box so that I know that you all have heard me and can see all of these tools on your screen. Go ahead and welcome Devon. All right, I got Felicia in there. I've got Julia in there. I've got Karen in there. Shaquila and Devon, thank you for joining us. All right, so everyone seems to know. So now go ahead and do me a favor and go ahead and grab the pen mark right here on your, and go ahead and write on the board, on the Illuminate board, so that we can all say something. So I'm writing right now, say hello to us if you would like. Go ahead and play around on the interactive whiteboard. There we go. Great. I see a lot of you doing it. The little picture icon one is a great one. It has all sorts of different clip art that you can put on here. That's a great one to use to say some things. I don't like that. I didn't do that before. Oh, great. Look at them all.
Can you see all of, I guess those are things moving.
Yeah.
It's weird.
All right, Devon, go ahead and select that check mark box to let me know that you can indeed hear me. Go ahead and select your check mark so that I know that you can hear me.
Trace Saunders. I think she's having internet problems.
Great. Thank you, Devon. I'm glad that you can hear us. Welcome. So basically, I just wanted to give you an opportunity just to see how you can play on the interactive whiteboard. These are really unique things. You can also load up images. That's what I have right here. But really today, we just want to talk a little bit about your experience in Epic Ed and how it can help you moving forward as you guys begin to adopt ubiquitous computing in your schools. So first of all, we want to welcome you. Both of us, both Brittany and I, are here, and we want to just welcome you and thank you again for taking time to join us this wonderful July afternoon. But let's go ahead and get down to it. We just really want to have a conversation just very quickly about some of what you see to be some of the benefits or limitations, or how you might see yourself actually using Epic Ed moving forward. So again, feel free, for those of you that have a microphone, you would go ahead and raise your hand, and then I would go ahead and let you have the microphone, and all you do is click on talk and then say what you need to say and then let it go. If you want to join, you're welcome to join the conversation by just using the chat window below as well. And welcome, Alfreda. Thank you for coming. So the first thing we want to do is that we've seen that most of you have made it to Epic Ed. And so by either raising your hand so that you can take the microphone or chatting in the chat box, could you just give us, a quick sentence on what you think is valuable about a place like Epic Ed that specifically serves educators trying to transition into ubiquitous computing? So if you could just either raise your hand or go ahead and type in the chat box. And we'll give you a few minutes to do that. Thank you, Devon. I can see you're chatting. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Shaquila. So right now we're just chatting in the chat box about this first question. What's the value? So what? What is the value of having a really specific community around the digital transition? Welcome, Ryan. We're just answering this first question either by raising your hand and grabbing the mic, and then or just chatting in the chat box. And also give us a check mark if you can hear me. All right, so some of the things that are coming through are obviously it's a great place to collaborate. It's a great opportunity to tap into a lot of resources. And Julie, I think you're really right. I think that the main reason that we really wanted to start this community here at the Friday Institute is because you're right, you guys are in a very unique niche that it's going to be most powerful if you can connect to other educators, particularly educators that are in the classroom who are really struggling with, okay, so how do we actually make this digital transition? And to be able to lean on each other and solve problems of practice. So you guys are all exactly right, and that's exactly what we hope Epic Ed will do moving forward. Again, remember we are in beta. The actual national launch is going to be on August 15th. There are going to be 2 open houses on that day. No worries about being late, Ryan. No worries. I will put the epiced.org so you can sign up for the open houses on the actual national launch. But the good news is that you all were invited as special invitation to actually join the community. So you are really part of a really exclusive group that's actually got an opportunity to be in Epic Ed before the rest of the nation. So that's really, really great. And so I think some of you kind of tapped on into kind of the next question we want to address. Is what are the benefits do you see in using an online professional learning community? And so Alfreda, you said something. You said that it can be more informal than face to face. And I think that as we move forward in the 21st century, I think you're absolutely right, Alfreda, that informal learning versus sort of more formalized, like college or professional development learning, is really what educators are going to have to learn how to tap into in order to keep up with their peers. So that is definitely one benefit. What's another benefit specifically, if you all would, in the chat box? What's a specific benefit of being an online professional learning community, particularly that emphasis on online? So I'll give you a few minutes to chat about that. What do you see the benefits of an online professional learning community? You go ahead and just put epiced.org into the thing. Or go to epiced.org and copy the URL and put it in so it'll come in. And then you have to go back and get the assignment because you'll have 2 things on your
I have it saved.
Good,
It's still in my
thanks.
browser, so.
Yep, absolutely. We know that time is the greatest economic factor in education, right? So most of you are talking about that. It's about being able to do it when you can. It's about doing it at your own pace. Thank you, Devon. And then Ryan, you're the one that actually right. That's exactly right. So not only can you do it at your own pace, do it when you can, 24/7 access, but you also then have an opportunity to tap into the global world. We are a very small world now that we can be learning from teachers and educators in Greece, in France, and Ukraine, wherever that is, because we know that these one-to-one initiatives are taking place all across the world. So yes, Karen, you talked about that same thing across the world, and you're absolutely right, Alfreda. Again, it's also about not only do we need to learn with other like-minded individuals, but we also can learn and get value from getting a diverse perspective on what this means to kind of go through this digital transition. So just excellent answers. So I'll give just about 30 seconds for anyone else who wants to add any final comments before we move on to our third question of discussion. We're kind of doing this like kind of round table. Brittany has been kind enough there's the Epic Ed, and then she's going to go ahead and put up the actual new community where you can sign up for the open house in just a minute. So final thoughts on the value of online. So also put just epiced.org, the new. So this is the beta URL. Just go to Google and just put in epiced.org and copy that URL and put it in the chat for me.
So it looks like that.
Yes, that's the one I want to share. But put that in the chat room, and then when I see you do that, I'll say something about it.
Okay. Ready?
Yep. All right, guys. Devon, thank you for joining us. As you can see in the chat room, right now you guys are all going to the beta Epic Ed because, as I've said before, you all are in a unique place. But you do maybe want to go to this URL down here. This is you will be seamlessly transferred, I promise, from beta Epic Ed over to epiced.org starting on August 15th. If you actually click on that link, you can see that you can actually sign up for one of our 2 national open houses, and that is when we will be launching Epic Ed live to the world. So you can definitely join us and be a part of that. So just wanted to kind of clarify that. So we have the beta and we have the Epic Ed, so please join us on August 15th. Then in terms of moving on, so some of you have made it to the beta Epic Ed, which again will be seamlessly transferred over to epiced.org. So, I know some of you are in there, some of your pictures got updated, so I know you guys were poking around in there. So was there anything that perhaps didn't resonate with you, or you found to be a limitation, or is there something else there you wish that you had seen? Again, remember it is in beta, but go ahead and take a few minutes and share with us any concerns you have about your user experience in Epic Ed. Anything that isn't there, what you'd like to see more of, etc. I'll give you a few minutes to do that in the chat box. Again, just go ahead and share your thoughts about any limitations in the chat box or things you wish you saw more of in Epic Ed.
Might be interesting to share with Bobby if they have anything.
I'm recording, yep. Okay, Shaquila doesn't have any concerns. Well, I'll be sure to pass that on, Shaquila, that you don't have any concerns at this time. Woohoo, that's good news. I see some of you are still chatting, so we'll look to see what other. Yeah, I agree with you, Julia. One of the concerns we did have about inviting groups in early is you do run that risk of that sense of isolation. But just know there are over 1,800 members in Epic Ed right now, and of course, after August 15th, we hope that number grows exponentially. But I agree with you, Julia. It will be nice when we have a lot more people in there. Ryan, let's see. I'm looking at your comment. Something about streamlining. I would like to see more categories for posting resources. Okay. All right. So that's really like looking at that meta tagging system. And we are, again, we are in beta, and we absolutely are aware that we want to have some controlled vocabulary, and we also want to give you the idea of you being at one point we would want users to be able to tag their own discussion posts with the words that they want to post it with. So that's a really a keen observation there. And I'm trying to get to Karen's comment, my small little window here. Oh, okay. So it's okay. So I see what you're saying, Karen. So it's kind of it's not like how we how we are in Moodle. You can't really kind of see the thread in kind of an indented way. Okay. I agree. That is an interesting. Brittany said that is an interesting observation. We'll be sure to point that out to the creators, and maybe that's a simple fix. But that's a really good point. So thank you for pointing that out. Any other limitations, concerns, thoughts for improvement that we can pass on to some of the developers, because we still got about a month to go that we're still tweaking, and are interested in any input that you would have about how we can make Epic Ed a better user experience for you. Okay, Julia, and that actually is a great segue for one of the things we're going to ask you to do in the assignment. Is we are going to ask you to do the rating system. So Brittany's going to go ahead and put the link. There is a link in your Moodle course. I think it's in the center block. There's an Epic Ed assignment, and one of the things we ask you to do is not only do we would like you to post some discussions, we want you to go in there and rate some resources. And the way that works really, Julia, is really we just want to know, what did you think of it? I mean, how it's kind of like Amazon, like how many stars would you give this resource? So we would like you to go into Epic Ed and actually rate some of the resources, and you just simply pick the star if you want to give it 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, and you just click that, and then that will go into an average of how many other people have rated that resource. So if you're the first one to rate it, then it will get yours, but then after someone else rates it, it will become an average. Who was that, Ryan, with the app question? This little tiny windows. Oh, I know. Duh.
Figured out how to move things now.
Alfreda, you're absolutely right. We have, we really wanted to make sure that we got all of the kinks worked out in the beta site before we move to doing it on mobile. Know that that is on the horizon, and we will obviously be sending out a community email to let you know when that will be available, and we will probably just create a mobile version of it. I'm not sure if we're going to be creating an app for it, but of course, if this thing takes off and it's being really utilized, then of course we might be able to get some money and develop an app for it. But those are all great observations. Go ahead and put that link into the chat, because then it'll actually link for them.
Oh, it should.
I can't get it to go over, but maybe it's just me. Let's see. Will there be? Oh, that's a great question, actually. Felicia, I really, really like that idea. I'm absolutely going to pass that on. You're absolutely right. We didn't even think about, we might need to have a loose rubric to actually help users kind of make a good decision about why would you give something a 1, or 1 star, or why would you give it something 2 stars. So I will absolutely be passing that on to some of our developers. That's a really great suggestion. Thank you for that, Felicia. And again, just to let you know, there is that Epic Ed that's now hot linked in the chat room. You guys do have to do some things in order to, so we can make sure that we can give you your CEUs. So be sure that you go to that assignment, you do create some discussions, you do rate some things, and we'll be going in there and looking for that. And then that way we can be sure that you will fully earn your CEUs. Does anyone have any questions or anything they want to throw out in the chat window before we move on to our final question? You can raise your hand or whatever you need to do if you want to grab the mic, or just go ahead and chat and type in that window any other questions, concerns you want to throw at us before we kind of move on to our final question for today.
And I get the point is that someone knows that their microphone is turned on or off, I guess, but still, it's kind of loud.
And we're just waiting on Alfreda. She obviously has something to say, so we'll give her a few minutes just to get her thoughts out there, and then we'll move on. Thank all of you for being patient. Here we go. Oh, she kind of went ahead. Oh. Okay, great. That's okay, Alfreda. No worries, no worries. But that's a great segue. You guys can, if you still had some final thoughts that you want to share, please go ahead and put those in the chat window, and Brittany will follow up. But let's go ahead and let's bring us sort of to the whole reason that we sort of built this unique online learning experience for you is because we want to start tearing down the silos that educators often find themselves in, particularly when trying to make this digital transition. And what we know is that right now only 1 in 4 educators in this nation are highly connected, or they belong to some sort of learning community. And what we know moving forward, as Alfreda and others had pointed out earlier, is that we need to take advantage of more informal learning in order to really sharpen our practice and also solve problems of practice. So let's take a few moments. Alfreda has already been there, but let's take a few minutes to think about how does becoming a highly connected educator or belonging to an online professional learning community, how will you actually use this in practice? How could it help inform your practice moving forward? So let's go ahead and tackle that last question. I'll give you a few minutes to go ahead and type your thoughts into the chat window.
Yeah, you're doing
I feel like I'm just like,
You're doing great. It's hard when you can't see your students.
it's hard when they don't have microphones.
Yeah, that too.
I've never had a group with, it's the first group I've ever had that doesn't have microphones.
Mhm.
I don't like this window. I have to figure out how to make this window, how can I make this window bigger? We'll have to help them figure out how to get microphones. That'll be our goal for them.
Mhm.
All right, so yeah, already some really great thoughts coming in. Really, it is about sharing and gaining expertise, which is, Gusky. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tom Gusky and his work around professional development, but that's like the hierarchy. That's the end. It's like the create in Bloom's taxonomy. That if you don't go all the way through all the stages of professional development and reach the part where you're actually sharing and gaining expertise from each other, then the professional development probably didn't do all that it could. Again, it is about finding out how are other educators using tools and resources and digital content in their classroom. And okay, who's trying to get brownie points here? Because I know I did my dissertation on TPAC. Who is it? Is that you, Shaquila? It was Ryan. Ryan. So yeah, Ryan, honestly, you're absolutely correct. It absolutely is exactly what the TPAC model or theoretical framework, if you will, is actually trying to get you to do. And we have to have a change in the culture in the educational profession. We cannot be silos in our classroom with our doors closed and just sort of doing the same thing over and over again. Why not tap into the collective? There are tons of educators out there using things, and just as Felicia said, it's one thing to find a tool or one thing to find something, but to actually begin to have a conversation with somebody else out there about how do you actually lesson plan with it? What does classroom management look like around that tool? And not only, one of the reasons we decided to call Epic Ed is because we want to be epic, obviously, but we also know that there might be epic failures, right? But that's just as important for you all to learn from each other, like what was a hot mess and totally did not work in your classroom. That might be very valuable to someone else or me who goes on to Epic Ed and sees that you did something and it just did not work. And so maybe I might think about using something different or doing it in a different way. Exactly, Devon. Not only is it about the lesson planning and the implementation, but it's also like, what is the best way to use a Google Doc? What is the best way to use Google Forms? The sort of behind the screen kind of thing. How do you actually use these tools in smart ways? So that's absolutely a great value for having and joining an online professional learning community. So I'll go ahead and take any other final thoughts. the good, the bad, and the ugly about Epic Ed, what you think of it, how you see yourself using it forward. And again, I think we'll hear more from you as you guys go in and complete your assignment in Epic Ed. So I give you a few minutes just to go ahead and give your final thoughts. Well, Alfreda, that is music to our ears, and I hope that all of you share Alfreda's sentiment that it is a really unique community of a really group of really smart people, really trying to make this as user-friendly and as applicable as possible. I'm one of the I'm one of the content contributors, so I'm definitely coming at it from that in the classroom teacher perspective, and going through the digital transition myself, moving in a public separate school all to one-to-one laptops in my classroom, my final years there. I definitely understand how scary and daunting this task can be. But again, hard work is made light by the hands of many, and that is exactly what we're trying to do in Epic Ed. And I agree. We all can't wait to go national and sort of be a one-stop shop, and that is exactly what we want to hear. Because what we are going to do is we are going to be going through the internet and other teachers' experiences and other districts and schools' experience, and trying to bring all of that information to one place so that you can find it all in one place. So I want to, again, on behalf of Brittany and myself, I want to thank you again for taking time out in this beautiful July. I know how precious our time off in the summer can be. And again, we thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing your work as you complete the Epic Ed assignment in the Moodle course. And we also look forward to getting back with you, and I think it's August 13th. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that our session 3 and 4 will begin on August 13th. And we'll be back in the Moodle doing our assignments there, and if we want, we'll have another Illuminate if we think that's necessary. But basically, you are welcome to continue. You want to go ahead and complete your assignment, but you're obviously invited to do whatever you want to do in Epic Ed and become an active member in that community. So unless there's any other final comments, I'll give it 30 seconds for any final comments. Before I let go, yes, Julia, you can imagine that all the TPAC references are mostly coming from me. But so yeah, you will definitely see my hand in there. So, so thank you all again very much for coming. Have a great day. Again, this this has been recorded and will be available to you in the course when you go to the course the next time. Don't hesitate, even though we are going to kind of in our informal break, don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions, concerns, or need any help completing that Epic Ed assignment. Know that Brittany and I will be going and looking in Epic Ed to see that you have posted discussions and have been rating resources. So please get that done over the next couple weeks, and we'll see you in August. Take care.